There's a moment in life when everything goes quiet, the noise fades, the pressure subsides, and you finally hear it, the deafening silence of what's missing. It's not more money, not more time, not more praise or power. It's something quieter, simpler, but more powerful than anything else you've ever known. It's gratitude. But we don't start there, do we? No. We're born into a world that teaches us to chase perfection, chase recognition, chase the next level, the next win, the next breath of validation. And somewhere in that endless race, we forget the miracle of what already is. We're taught to focus on what's lacking, the job we haven't landed, the dream that hasn't arrived, the body we haven't built, the love we haven't found. And in doing so, we become blind to what we have. Let me tell you something most people never realize. A grateful soul cannot be broken, because a grateful soul sees everything as a gift, even the pain. Gratitude is not weakness. It's not passive. It's not about sitting still and smiling at life's storms. No, gratitude is power. It's perspective with teeth. It's the ability to stand inside the fire and say, "This will make me stronger." It's choosing to see light, even when the room is dark. And that choice, that sacred, powerful choice, is where everything changes. Because here's the truth. Mindset is not inherited, it's crafted. Beliefs are not born, they're chosen. And gratitude is the forge where both are made. When your mind is trained to see gifts instead of gaps, lessons instead of losses, growth instead of grief, you become unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get wiser. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop begging for signs. You stop depending on circumstances to dictate your peace. Instead, you decide that today, this exact moment, is already worthy of thanks. That's not delusion. That's power. It's the power to shift your story, to reframe your pain, to reclaim control over the only thing you ever truly had, your perception. And once you master that, you don't just survive, you soar. Because clarity begins with gratitude. Not ambition, not anger, not ego. Gratitude. You see clearly when you're grateful, because gratitude dissolves the fog. It strips away the lies you've been told, that you're not enough, that you're falling behind, that you need more to be worthy. No, clarity begins when you stop and see what's already within you. The heartbeat in your chest, the breath in your lungs, the strength in your scars. You are not empty. You are not broken. You are becoming. And gratitude is the mirror that shows you just how far you've come. It's easy to forget, isn't it? You forget that you once prayed for the life you're living now. You forget that the problems you face today are things the old you wish they could deal with. You forget that the strength you carry wasn't born in comfort. It was built in chaos. That every sleepless night, every shattered plan, every tear you've cried has shaped you. That's what gratitude reminds you. Not to ignore the pain, but to honor it, to let it fuel you, not define you. And from that place, from that sacred alignment of clarity and appreciation, vision is born. Not just a list of goals, not a mood board taped to your wall, but real vision. Vision that comes from within. Vision that's rooted in truth. Because you can't build a future with muddy eyes, and you can't chase greatness if you're still bitter about your past. Gratitude clears the field. It cleans the lens. It removes the noise so you can finally see. You start to realize you're not here to just exist. You're here to create, to design a life that reflects your highest self, to pursue purpose with fire in your heart and peace in your soul. That's what real power feels like. Not just chasing success, but honoring the journey. And that's when purpose emerges, not from outside, not from titles or applause, but from alignment, from knowing deep in your bones that you were built for something more, and being grateful enough to answer the call. Because gratitude connects you to purpose. It reminds you that every setback had a reason, every detour had a lesson, every delay had a purpose of its own. And when you stop fighting your path, When you stop resenting the timing, you start to own it. You become the author again, not the victim, not the echo of someone else's fear, but the voice of your own destiny. And you move differently, with intention, with depth, with discipline. Because purpose without discipline is just a dream. But gratitude gives discipline meaning. You don't wake up early because someone told you to. You do it because you're thankful for another chance. You don't train your body out of vanity. You do it because you're grateful you can. You don't show up every day out of obligation. You do it because you remember what it felt like to have nothing. Discipline becomes devotion, and that devotion becomes action, not rushed, not desperate, not for the sake of proving anything to anyone, but because gratitude compels you to serve, to give, to build, to elevate others just as you've been lifted. You stop asking, "What can I get?" and start asking, "What can I give with what I have right now?" That's the secret no one tells you. Gratitude doesn't just make you happier, it makes you braver. Because when you live in thanks, you stop fearing failure. You stop comparing timelines. You stop needing permission to begin. You just begin. You begin not because everything is perfect, but because you already see perfection in the imperfect. Because when you live from gratitude, you don't need to wait for the stars to align. You become the alignment. You walk forward not with arrogance, but with quiet certainty, a knowing, a trust, a calm in your spirit that says, "I may not have it all, but I have enough to take the next step." And that's all life ever asks of you, one step. But it's hard to walk forward when you're carrying the weight of resentment, of anger, of regret. That's why gratitude is not just an emotion, it's a release. It's dropping the anchor of bitterness you didn't even know you were dragging. It's letting go of stories that no longer serve you. It's forgiving, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You don't grow by clinging to wounds. You grow by honoring them and then moving beyond them. And when you do, you unlock something else, resilience. The kind of strength that doesn't shout. The kind of strength that shows up after the fall, stands back up and whispers, "I'm still here." Because here's what no one tells you. You don't become resilient by avoiding struggle. You become resilient by surviving it and being grateful for what it taught you. The heartbreak taught you how deep you can love. The failure showed you how much you care. The rejection revealed the value of your presence. Gratitude turns pain into proof. Proof that you're still breathing, still growing, still fighting for the light. And when you walk through fire with your eyes wide open, something happens. You stop fearing change. You realize that life is change, a constant shedding, a constant evolution, a constant letting go of who you were to make space for who you're becoming. And gratitude. Gratitude is the grace that carries you through that evolution without breaking apart. Because change will test you. Change will shake your foundation. Change will ask you to surrender control. But gratitude whispers, you're not losing yourself. You're meeting the next version of you. You adapt, not out of desperation, but out of reverence. You let go of the illusion that certainty equals safety, because deep down you know uncertainty is where the magic lives. That's where courage rises. That's where creativity is born. That's where the old dies so the true can be reborn. And when you can be grateful for the unknown, you become limitless. Because most people wait. They wait for clarity. They wait for guarantees. They wait for conditions that will never come. But you walk with gratitude as your compass. And that compass will take you further than any plan ever could. Because plans are built with logic, but destiny is revealed through trust. And nothing builds trust like gratitude. You start to see that life was never happening to you. It was happening for you. Every delay had direction. Every detour held a blessing. Every unanswered prayer was a redirection wrapped in grace. And when you learn that, you stop being a prisoner of circumstances and start becoming a student of them. That's when you begin to learn, not just with your mind, but with your heart. Because real learning, deep, transformational learning, comes from humility. And nothing humbles the ego faster than gratitude. Gratitude reminds you you don't know it all. You never will. But you can receive it all if you're willing to see every moment as a teacher. The joy, the grief, the success, the silence, the losses, the breakthroughs, all of it. All of it is trying to teach you something. And the moment you choose gratitude, you stop resisting the lesson and start absorbing it. You start looking at life with open hands instead of clenched fists. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what and what now? You become curious again, present again, alive again. Because gratitude is not about settling. It's not about pretending life is perfect. It's about choosing to live fully, even when it's not. It's about standing in the middle of the mess and saying, this too is sacred. And that's when the world begins to shift. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Because you stopped needing more to feel full. You stopped chasing shadows. You stopped outsourcing your joy to some distant version of success. And in that stillness, in that surrender, you found yourself. And you realized gratitude isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a new lens, a new strength, a new way of being that no one can take from you. Because everything can be stripped away, the money, the applause, the spotlight, the certainty, but no one can take your perspective. No one can steal your ability to say thank you and mean it. And in that sacred space of thanks, you are free. Because when you can say thank you in the dark, in the waiting, in the breaking, that's when life bows to you. Not because you demanded power, but because you embodied it. Not the loud performative kind of power, but the quiet, unwavering flame that keeps burning long after the world turns its back. You become unstoppable, not by force, but by faith. Because a person rooted in gratitude cannot be broken. They only bend. And when the winds pass, they rise again, stronger, clearer, wiser. You see, gratitude is not soft. It's not passive. It's not weak. Gratitude is warrior energy. It's waking up every day with scars and still finding a reason to smile. It's facing uncertainty with your knees shaking and still saying, I trust the process. It's having every reason to shut down, but instead you open your heart wider. That's the power of gratitude. It breaks the cycle. It rewrites the story. It silences the lies that say, you're not enough. You'll never make it. This is just the way life is. Because gratitude sees truth where fear sees illusion. Gratitude says, you are already living in the miracle. You just forgot how to see it. You forgot how to feel it. The breath in your lungs, the beat of your heart, the chance right now to start again, to choose again, to forgive, to create, to love harder, to live deeper. And once you remember that, you stop waiting for the big moments. You stop chasing the mountaintops because you realize the real transformation happens in the valleys. The moment you held someone's hand and didn't let go. The moment you cried and didn't hide. The moment you laughed when you were supposed to be broken. The moment you saw yourself clearly for the first time and said, yes, this is who I am, and I am grateful. No mask, no shame, just truth. That's the gift. That's the victory. That's the moment everything changes. Not out there, but in here. And when the shift happens inside, the outside world has no choice but to follow. Doors open. Connections form. Opportunities flow. But not because you force them, because you aligned with them. That's the real magic. You don't have to chase, you attract what matches your frequency. And when your frequency is gratitude, you attract more to be grateful for. Not because life owes you, but because life recognizes you. It sees the one who honors the gift, the one who walks with humility, the one who gives thanks in the rising and the falling, in the abundance and in the emptiness. And so it gives more life, more love, more depth, more clarity. But don't misunderstand. Gratitude doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you get stronger. It means you stop running from the storm and start learning to dance in the rain. It means your joy is no longer conditional. Because when you've trained your soul to say, thank you, even when it hurts, even when you don't have the answers, even when the future is uncertain, that's not weakness, that's freedom. That's when you walk into every room with light. That's when people feel you before they hear you. That's when you stop trying to prove your worth and start living it. And isn't that what we all came here for? Not just to exist, not just to survive, but to feel this life, to honor it, to say every single day, this breath is enough, this moment is enough, and I am enough. Because the power of gratitude isn't in what it gives you, it's in what it awakens in you. And once it's awakened, you'll never live the same way again. You'll rise differently, love differently, lead differently. And the world around you, the people watching you, the ones still searching for that light, they'll feel it. They'll feel the peace you carry. They'll feel the presence you radiate. They'll ask themselves quietly, what changed in them? And the answer will be simple. You didn't wait for the world to be grateful for you. You became grateful for the world. You chose to see the beauty. You chose to speak the blessing. You chose to be the light in a world that forgot it still existed. And in doing so, you gave others permission to do the same. So today, not tomorrow, today, choose it. Choose to let gratitude lead. Let it guide your thoughts. Let it reshape your words. Let it rewrite your story. And when the noise gets loud, when the shadows return, when the doubt creeps back in, stand tall, breathe deep, and say it again, out loud if you must. I am grateful for all that I was, for all that I am, and for all I am still becoming. This is your power. This is your peace. This is the beginning of everything.